Hey, how you doing? Hope everything is well. Say hello in the comments. First question. Well, I'm Uncle Steph. So first question, can you hear me? Is the sound clear enough? Let me know in the comments if you can hear me or not. We got our first. Todd Booth says, are you leaving Florida ahead of the heat wave or are you down there for it? I left Florida about a month ago. I'm back home right now. But I'll be back down south in a few months, I suppose. Yeah, so who's online? 3 of us. All right, welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining. So, I'll wait for a few more people to get on, and then I'll run through the subject, and then I'll do a little bit of Q&A. So, hope everything is well with you guys. Let me know in the comments if you can hear me clearly or not. Say, we can hear you clearly. Yeah, that's about it. So, how was the week for you? All right. Yeah, that's true. Eh? Don't forget the thumbs, if you don't mind. So, in this video, I'm going to talk about starting your freelancing career. It's just going to be a quick overview because I'm going to have a long form video I'm going to release on YouTube this week. But I figured I'd just give you a quick run through the bullet points. And then we'll do some Q&A and we'll take it from there. So I guess you guys can hear me loud and clear. You let me know because I'm using an old mic. But thanks for the content. No worries, man. Thanks for joining the stream, everybody. Appreciate it. If you are new, my name is Uncle Steph. I've been a developer since the 1990s, so I just come online to share my experiences with you guys. Code long and profit. I stole this from the Vulcans. And that's it. So let me know in the comments where you guys are from. So we got Todd from Florida, I would imagine. Manuel, how are you? I was just watching you learn to code fast. Very cool. Clearly, good. I can hear that. Hear you loud and clear. Thanks for the content. Hey, Uncle Steph, hope you are having a good day. I'm having a very good day. Thank you very much. So I assume that the audio and the video are clear. Let me know. Hey, Uncle Steph, it's crazy that I am licensed MD, but want to switch to freelance programmer. Well, Dr. Jimin, if that's what you want to do, life's too short to not enjoy what you want to do. I would say you transition into it. So don't quit your day job because it usually takes some time to build up the freelance game. But don't just slowly transition into it. From San Diego, from Morocco, Mexico, Morocco. We got a couple of Moroccans. Macedonia. Very good. This guy's from Thumbs Up. Mike from Zimbabwe. Very cool. Missouri. Ghana. Yeah, good. Your content helped me a lot. All right, Michael, I'm glad I could help. Cool. Very cool. Okay. Houston, Texas. Switzerland. Wow, all over the world, man. Yonko, hugs from Buenos Aires. Hey, well, thanks. Thanks for joining the stream. Appreciate it. New York City. Tazikis. I don't know what that is. A whale's Regina here. I mean San Diego. Hey, how you doing, Matthew? Hope everything is cool. Are you on YouTube or X? I'm streaming on X2 at the same time. So I think the X, double guns. All right. That's single guns, code long and profit. Check out the bokeh hand, double guns. If you can do this, that's your true nerd. This is the true nerd test. All right. This says London. Your content helped me a lot. I'm glad it could. Hey guys, welcome to the stream. If you don't mind, give me the thumbs up, if you will. I'm just checking to see how we're doing. Are we on live here? Hold on. I'm just checking my. Okay, we're on X2. All right, cool. So we seem to be a bunch of people. Cool. All right. YouTube want me to jump to X. That's up to you, man. It's whatever you prefer. I'm on X and I'm on YouTube. But the X, what's cool, from last time anyway, people were able to ask questions on X, and it would appear in my streaming software here. That's kind of cool. All right, so whatever you want, man. Hey, Rasco, how are you? Hope everything is well. The Google overlords need thumbs up. Yeah, it's true. The Google overlords do need the thumbs. I appreciate the thumbs, guys. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give you a quick overview of the Start Freelancing tips. There's going to be a long form version of this coming out later this week, so you can watch. But here's kind of a preview for you guys. So actually, before I do that, all right, so I'm Mr. Mics. I'm addicted to mics. Here's another mic. So this is, now what you're listening to is not this mic. This is the mic up here you can hear. So tell me what you think of this. Now we're going to switch mics to... All right. So now we're using this mic here in front of me. Let me know in the comments, do you prefer mic number 2 on the desk or a desk mic? Do you like this mic? Does it sound better? Is it easier for you to listen to with this mic? Or do you prefer the previous mic, which is this one here? Do you prefer this mic here? Let me know, or you don't really care. I don't know. Is PHP good for freelancing or for a remote job in the US, or should I go for Next.js? Lots of work with freelance PHP simply because so many small businesses are on PHP. 2 sounds sharper. Well, what do you prefer? What is your longest you have ever coded consecutively in your life? What is the longest you have ever I don't know, daily, 30 days, 10 hours a day? That was when I built a social network from scratch. I did it in 30 days. But you know what? I'm probably forgetting. I've been doing this for so long. Desk mic is more clear, I think. They are both great, just sound a bit different in front. Mic 2 is clear, but the volume could go up a tad bit. The other mic is much better. Mic 2 isolates your voice, less echo. I like the desk. Both good, but desk mic is more clear. But what is easy for you? 2 sounds crisp. So we'll just go to desk mic, since everybody seems to prefer. I have no... Really? All right, we're on desk mic here. We're on desk mic here. This is the volume, and that's it. So this is desk mic. All right, so what we're going to do now, since we established that desk mic is the preferred mic, def condenser. Well, they're both actually condenser mic. Good guesses. This is condenser. The one up here is also a condenser mic. This is done more for movies. This is dialogue mic. Anyway, desk mic, good. What kind of small favor can I offer web design agency to provide value up front? That's an interesting question. I assume you're a web designer. Does that mean you're trying to get a job or something? I don't know. Let me know. I need some more context in that regard. Hey guys, don't forget the thumbs up. So let me just start I'll run through these bullet points here, and then I will, good. Okay, so we got somebody from X, cool. Hey, Nukes6, could you tell me if you have a premium X account or just a standard X account? I want to know if on the live streams, if the standard X accounts can post comments. Let me know, Nuke6, if you have a premium or standard account. All right, so let me just jump into the subject and then we'll get into the Q&A. So start freelancing fast. There's going to be a long form version of this coming this week, but I figured I'd just do a preview. So I'm going to rattle these off very quickly, and then we'll do some Q&A because time's a wasting. All right. Number 1, the web is king to freelance. Yes, you could freelance in other technologies, but the web stack, excuse me, by far is king, much more opportunity. I'll break that down in the long form video. So when you want to get going as a freelancer, you want to learn your foundations as quickly as possible so you're able to build a responsive website. Again, this is just a quick overview of this subject, and I'll get into the detail later this week. So once you've got your foundations done, what you want to do is you want to build a great looking portfolio site. This is a site, a site that you put online that people can find. It has to look good. Next point. You should learn the basics of WordPress. If you're freelancing, love it or hate it, WordPress is a standard. So that's key. So you don't have to become an expert in it, but just learn the basics. So next one, you want to start going after small projects, and the first few might be very, very inexpensive. Even the first two might be free if you're learning. You have to get in a habit of tracking your progress, tracking the work, your time very closely. This way you become a better judge and better at bidding for contracts later on. So there's, I don't know if I released a video yet, but there's 4 types of developers, web developers. There's the front end, back end, full stack, and what I would characterize as web designer, web marketer, web designer, web branding professional. These are all related, of course, but they are different. Like the web designer is less in code, more in working with different packages, like a WordPress, like a Shopify, I don't know, integrating with third-party, integrating APIs for like e-commerce and so forth. Anyway, so when it comes to freelance, it's all about either full stack, generally speaking, and web designer. Now, you can do front-end web developer, it could find work, back-end too, but in terms of probabilities, full stack and web designers is going to open up a lot more doors more quickly, typically. Okay, so at this point, you got your site up. You got to start networking. You got to start mining for client, because at first it's not consistent. It's not consistent, you know. So networking is a big part of being a freelancer. There's no question about that. So as a freelancer, you should expect to make less at first as you build up your client base and as you build up your skill set. When you first start off, you're going to be far less productive. Your workflows will be inefficient. So it's going to take you longer to do things, and you're going to make less typically. As you become more established, as you develop the workflows and so forth, your profitability will skyrocket. Another principle, better to have, as a freelancer, it's better to have many small clients than just a handful of big clients. Let me say that again. It's much better to have many small clients than a few big clients. Why? Because when you have a few big clients, they own you, right? They can control you. But if you have 10 small clients that you're rotating, if one of those clients becomes problematic, assuming an even distribution of income from the clients, if you fire one, it's not a big deal because you got another 9 clients, right, that you can lean on. Whereas if you only have 2 or 3 clients, if you lose one of the big clients, you're in trouble. So you don't want to be in a situation where you're dependent on 1 or 2 big clients. That's just a bad way to be. As I said before, you have to always be prospecting for new clients. So even if you're working, you always have to set aside some time to work on getting new clients. You want to keep that flow of new clients coming in all the time. If you're worried about getting overloaded, then you can, start, when you see things start to move, then you can start partnering with other web professionals that can help you take up any extra work that may come once in a while. Very important that when you're dealing with the clients, you have to have a very solid contract with them. This will avoid disputes, avoid arguments and headaches. A big part of the contract is actually to define very clearly who's responsible for what and what the expectations are. You never want to imagine in your head what you think that you're going to deliver or what the timeline is, what the specifics are. Don't ever imagine that, because I can guarantee you your client is going to be imagining something else. So you got to have a good, clear, but concise contracts. This avoids disputes because it's on paper or whatever, digitally. It's signed. Everybody knows what to expect in the relationship between you and them, right? So contracts are very important. when you are starting off the freelance business, you have to expect it to be inconsistent and slow at first. Generally speaking, if you have a lot of contact in industry, a lot of contacts in industry, you might be able to speed that up unusually. But most of the time, including myself, it was like no contracts, no contracts, no contracts. Oh, I got a contract. And then no contract, no contracts. Okay, I got 2 contracts. So it's like that. When you get established, your name gets out there, then you're going to be in a very good position. But you have to expect in the beginning, it's inconsistent. So don't beat yourself up if you're having a hard time landing your first jobs. It's par for the course. It's normal. Expect clients to be slow to respond. So you may get the client and you may present the first demo and you're waiting for copy from them, you're waiting for images from them, you're waiting for free feedback from them, and they may disappear on you for a week or 2. This is something to be expected. So there's a strategy in handling that. That's why you have multiple clients so you can cycle through the work. And how you handle laggy clients, I'll get into that in the long version of this course, of this breakdown here. So yeah, you got to expect lazy, laggy clients, because most of your clients are going to be small business, by the way. And so small business people are being pulled in many different directions at the same time. So they can disappear on you for weeks at a time, mid-project. So final point, expect to work with small businesses at first. When you're first starting out, don't make the mistakes some people make and try to land the contracts with the medium and large size businesses. The only time you can do that is if you have a contact directly in these businesses that is solid. Other than that, you're small, you're starting off, your new business, big companies will not work with you. You're going to be working with small business, local coffee shop, local butcher, who knows, tailor. Maybe somebody just starting up their online store. It's hard to say, but you got to expect as a small player, as a new web developer, web designer, web professional, you're going to be working with small clients. That's normal. All right. That is the summary. Very quick summary. I don't know, it took me 10 minutes, I guess, of this upcoming long form course, which I'll get into much more detail. And yeah, so let me answer a few questions. All right. What's going on? We'll go back up. Did you ever work 9 to 5 in tech software? I did some contract work where I was a 9 to 5er for a very short period of time. It's 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, could have been a month. Other than that, I was either freelancing or I was building my own SaaS products and taking them to market. I finished a computer programming diploma recently and have been learning Golang. I prefer it to PHP. I want to start freelancing for non-technical small businesses. Is using Go a bad idea? Well, start researching. I think you're going to find the Go opportunities in freelance for small business a no-go. It's simply because Go, is a very niche language. You got to learn to separate between how good you think a language is and how financially viable the language is. So I look at PHP and I think there's a lot of pros technically, but one of the big advantages it has is so widely used, But you can take a look into that. Oh, by the way, I see you guys are communicating with each other. I have a Discord channel. It's free. Link below. You should join the Discord. There's lots of people and everything. We have 3,500 people who have joined. So if you want to continue conversation with each other when I'm not streaming, that's the opportunity. By the way, if you like this content, give it a thumbs up if you don't mind. If you hate this content, give it 2 thumbs down to show how much you hate me. Mr. Brownie, hey man, how you doing? Hello, boss. I gotta go to sleep. It's 2:41 a.m. here. Bye and have a good life. Hey, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for joining the stream. Double guns. What are your top sources to get your first new clients, friends, family, client recommendations? Recommendations are always best. Once you establish yourself, you're going to be doing more and more word of mouth because small business owners tend to know other small business owners. So Friends, family, hit them all. Hit them all, especially in the beginning. Hit them all. Get that portfolio site up. Make sure it looks amazing. And then just start telling people, I'm doing freelance web design and development now. This is what I do. If you know anybody who needs a site, let me know. Anybody needs to get their WordPress updated, let me know. This is all, you got to work all the channels, you know. Can you show us an example of a contract? Well, I don't have anything handy right now, but I'll see if I can put a screenshot of something in my, when I do the long form version of this video. I do have a freelancing course if you want to check that out. It has all the contracts in there. Okay, so we have conversation. You think Laravel is great to build a web app? Yeah, I think Laravel is very good. My own web app, the current one, Studioweb, is a Laravel-based application. Is there a particular reason you never settled for a 9-to-5 in software? That's a good question. It's personality. I know some friends of mine who they've done very well, 9-to-5, you know, done very well, made lots of money, retired. The career was fine. I know some people are still working. They have plenty of money. They go, I'll just still work. They make good money. I've always been an entrepreneur. Last time I had a job working for somebody, I was 18 years old, 19 years old. I was a bouncer in a nightclub. That was the last, so it's just what it is. And before I got into coding, I owned a business that did water purification. I imported rare fish from all over the world. So it's just me. But you have to choose whether you want a full-time job, whether you want to freelance, whether you want to start your own business, delivering a SaaS software. You have to make those choices based on what you like and don't like. For example, the original Studioweb, which I registered that domain in '98, Studioweb was originally a web design studio, Studioweb. And I had employees working for me, and we were building up the business, and I just couldn't take it. I use contractors, and I just don't like running a bunch of people's careers, you know? It's just my personality. Some people I know do very well with it, you know? It's just not for me. I'm learning COBOL. What's your opinion on that language? I never used it, but COBOL, for people who don't know, is the language of mainframes. It's really old, but it's still used. So if you're a COBOL programmer, there's probably a lot of money to be made there. Although there's not a lot of jobs, there's still probably more jobs than people. So if you do COBOL, and if you like COBOL programming, there's probably a lot of jobs for you. You'd be working at very large banks, institutions, government maybe. Always remember that the language and frameworks that you work with will impact the type of businesses you end up with. So if you're doing Java and .NET, for example, typically is large, medium to large corporations. It's just the nature of, that's what those languages are typically used in that context. If you're doing PHP, it's probably going to be small organizations. So it's a totally different lifestyle. It's a totally different type of development. So you have to consider all that when you're getting into it, you know? Hold on, how are we doing here? Are we, okay, we got 17 people. If any of you on X have questions, feel free to ask, and I'll be happy to answer. All right, so let's continue. Taza, Rabato, brother, okay. Is COBOL used in the banking industry? Yes, quite a bit. That's where it's used. Hey, Uncle Steph, many people are saying front end is oversaturated due to get a tech job in 6 months boot camps. Should I start with back end instead? For me, the value, if you do full stack, that opens up a lot more opportunities. Yeah, so I would say do full stack. Van Kata, yes. First time catching Uncle Steph live. Hey, welcome to the stream. Hope everything as well. Yeah. I started learning programming by using a private enterprise language. Then my job made me learn XQuery. Oh, XQuery, I remember that. That's old, man. I bought your course, HTML, CSS, and JS, and have been easy doing PHP now. Ah, very cool, man. I'm glad you found the courses useful. Stefan, trying to make a home. How should I start? Make a home. I'm not sure what you mean by making a home. Are you building a house, or are you trying to get married or something? Is that, tell me what you mean by that. I want to freelance. I just finished HTML and CSS. Should I learn JavaScript or start learning WordPress? Also, where do you feel PHP fits into this? Good question, Lagoon. Are you doing my courses or somebody else's? I don't know. For freelance, you're going to find, for the most part, JavaScript is typically less useful than PHP for freelance. It's just because of the nature of the work. Now, if you were doing my courses, I would say just do the Foundations PHP JavaScript course, then do the PHP course. Get them done pretty quick, and then get into WordPress. And that's how you're going to open up opportunities. I asked ChatGPT how to get started freelancing, and it suggested that I learn Ruby on Rails. Is that still relevant? Is that still a relevant framework? That's a niche framework. That's bad advice. That's bad advice. If you learn Rails, you can't lose. Here's one of my general rules is that you can't really learn a bad technology. They all have their good, so you can't learn a bad technology. So let's say you decide to learn Rails, and you find out 6 months later, whatever it is, but you can't find a Rails job. The skills that you learn learning Rails and Ruby are 100% transferable to learning JavaScript and Express, or PHP and Laravel, or Python and Django. Wouldn't be a big deal to transfer over. What's the best path to full stack? After doing HTML, CSS, JS, I've started PHP for backend, but some suggested maybe I should go to React, Node, JS since I did JS. Please, Uncle, what would be good? If you want to, well, it depends. You want a full stack Kelly as a freelancer, then I would say PHP. If you want to go more corporate, then maybe Node. Don't worry. Finish your PHP since you started it, and then jump into Node, because you're going to learn it so much more quickly. Once you've learned one back-end language and you learn the full stack, you can jump from full stack JavaScript, full stack PHP, full stack Python pretty darn quick. I'm about to finish Masters in Computer Science, and I'm afraid of getting bogged down in endless useless meetings in a 9-to-5 job. I'm thinking about going the entrepreneurial freelance route. Listen, that's a choice. That's a lifestyle choice. So if you're young and you're thinking about going to business, I would say go into business. Better to do it when you're young. What you could do is get the job, so you can start making some money and gaining some experience, and on the side work on a business idea. Work on the prototype on the weekends, at night. So you got money coming in, you're developing experience, and then when you launch the prototype, and then you start getting traction, then you can gracefully transition away from the job. That's an option for you. So, yeah. Are frameworks Django, Blazor commonly used for freelance web dev? They're used, Django, but I would imagine for every Django project, there's probably a lot more Node and Express projects, a lot more Laravel and PHP projects and WordPress projects. How to get more customers on Fiverr and Upwork, in your opinion? Build up a strong reputation and portfolio, man. Build up a strong reputation and portfolio. I'm glad I could help. Good. So would Django or Flask as well as Node be more advantageous framework to learn? Do some research in your area, see where the demand is, and make your choice based on that. I think you probably find more work with Django and Node Express than Flask, but that depends on the area. 1000% true about skills being transferable. I didn't realize how easy my transition from xQuery to all other languages would be. I wish I just started earlier. That's exactly it. That's why I tell people McNello, that's so far the best comment of the evening. He learned that once you've learned the one programming language, to learn the others is really easy. It's not hard. It's like I would in my freelance career, I would just go into a project with no expectations about which technology or language I would use. I'm going to often learn a new language on the fly. Because once you know, like in my full stack course, in terms of programming languages, you learn JavaScript, you learn PHP, and you get to Python. And by learning those 3 programming languages, the first one will take you, let's say the first one takes you 3 months to get comfortable with it. Excuse me, at least on a fundamental level. The second one will take you 4 or 5 days. And the third one will take you 1 or 2 days to learn. You see how much quicker it becomes? So there's not really a bad language to choose because you'll be able to just pivot in and out of other ones. So how do you spot make-believe YouTube coders if they tell you that this language is a must-first language to learn and all the other languages are garbage and you can choose the wrong language? These are clearly people who are not professional developers. They're probably just professional YouTubers. Can you please tell me which tech stack will be best bet for me if I want to go with full stack? I want to get a job first, then slowly move towards freelancing. Just look around for the job opportunities, man. What in your part of the world, what are they using? So you'll find different states, even within the USA, even within just the US, you find from California, Northern California, there might be a lot of Ruby work. You go to Texas, there might be a lot of C# work. Southern California, it might be a lot of Java, C#. So you have to do some research in terms of the jobs in your area to make that determinations. Hey guys, if you don't mind, hit those thumbs, leave some comments under the videos. Let's juice the algorithm. Lord Google wants the algos. And thanks for everybody on X joining as well. I was just checking in, make sure everything's cool there. How can I find Shopify clients who need development on their stores as a beginner? I learned the basics of HTML, CSS, JS, and Liquid. I think there's if I recall, I think there's a Shopify developer network. So that'd be the first place I would start. Is it worth learning programming in 2024? I heard that freelance market is full and there are no places for beginners. No. Just keep upping your skills. Keep working on it. You can't lose by learning to code. Which language is best for freelancing? How much can you expect to earn on Upwork? Well, when you're first starting off, you're a beginner, so you're going to make less. There's going to be a lot of web. So it's HTML, CSS, JavaScript, PHP, maybe some Python with Django. You might find some iOS to do, some Android to do on Upwork. I'm not an Upwork guy, but again, you increase your earnings by becoming a better coder, a better developer. I talk about that a lot in other videos and in my freelance course. So what you're saying that once you learn programming concepts, you can easily pick up syntax of the next language you want to learn. 100% Johnny Cinco Cero. 100%. That's how it works. 100%. Once you got programming, once you understand the constructs, functions, method, arrays, variables, recursion, object-oriented programming, inheritance, interfaces. Once you understand these things, they're universal across the modern languages. Yes, there are some differences here and there. You have different constructs, if you will, that in one language you may not see in another. So you have something in Python, for example, called a tuple. You don't have a tuple in JavaScript, but it's a type of collection. For you to understand a tuple, which is a type of array, it will take you like 3 minutes. Oh, okay, there you go. So don't worry about it. Yeah. Do you think Zig is the hardware future? I don't know what Zig is. Never heard of it. I know the 9-to-5 prototype on the weekend is the reasonable choice, but it sounds so boring. I would rather put all my eggs in one basket and go for the moonshot multi-million-dollar business. Well, Rakow, you can do both, right? You can work on your multi-million-dollar business on the side while you're gaining experience and contacts with the company you're working for, and gaining skills. But if you want to go full-time in the job, you don't have any wife and kids to support, and you can live at home or something, or you're not desperate for money, then do it. If you're going to start a business, you start it young. Start it young, because you're going to make mistakes in business, typically. And if you make mistakes, you're going to have some hiccups. That's okay. So better to start young. Mr. Babur, hi uncle, I learned Python fundamentals in 3 to 5 months. Now I'm doing full stack web dev. I've learned JavaScript in 1 or 2 weeks. Exactly. And I bet when you learned JavaScript, it gave you some more insight into Python, right? And you probably end up learning a 3rd language or a 4th language, and you'll be able to learn that within a week, So that's how it goes. Do you see any future with Flutter? I haven't looked at Flutter in a while. I know I know Google uses it on their core product, and I think it has a future. I'm not sure how prevalent it's going to be, but it does definitely have a future, that's for sure. How are we doing here? All right, 35 minutes. Got one of your web dev books a while ago. Cool. Nice to meet you. Trying to break free of hard labor jobs. So I got a cybersecurity certificate recently. Cool. Congratulations on that. What language would you recommend after studying Python? I have no real world experience, but working towards it. Also, how will AI change things? Good question. So after you learn Python, I would jump into JavaScript, and then I would do HTML and CSS, then I would do JavaScript, and then I would do PHP. Because there's just so much opportunity in the web stack. Then how will AI change things? AI will not change things too much. It's just going to speed up the processes. AI is going to be an extra layer of technology that you can leverage and potentially implement for clients. That's pretty much it. I argue that there has been other technologies that came out years ago before AI that are far more impactful in terms of coding than AI has been thus far. That's just a fact. AI is big because it's very broad-based. You see it being implemented in all kinds of different industries, whether it be programming or video cameras, all kinds of different areas. But in terms of programming itself, I'd argue that page-based technologies, when that came out in '96, far more impactful in terms of development than AI. I think that content management systems, when they came out, WordPress, Drupal, Joomla, and others, far more impactfful on web development than AI, believe it or not. So AI is big, but it's not something to lose any sleep over. Just learn about it. I'm going to be adding some AI modules in my mentoring program. I've never used Mojo, so I don't have a thought. What is if you wanted to give just one piece of advice to someone who wanted to enter the field of programming freelance? What would you advise them? Learn the web stack. Thank God people don't know Zig. Freelance clients usually want a product like an app or website that they manage themselves, or they prefer a service where you as a web dev take care of it for them. Depends on the client. You're going to find one thing you have to be as a freelancer, you have to be very flexible. You have to be willing to pivot depending on the needs of the job. So, yeah. I do wonder how well back-end web frameworks such as Django or Laravel could serve as back-end for a mobile app. Firebase may get expensive over time. They both work fine. I've seen both implementations. I wouldn't use Firebase. I would just use MySQL. It's free, and it works fine. Thank you for answering my question, Steph. Which platform do you recommend for freelancing, if not Upwork? I couldn't say. Just check around, do research on the different platforms, see what they say. It always changes. I could say do Upwork or do this, but I would have to check into it now because platforms change. Some get better, some get worse, some stay the same. So just do some research on that. No worries, dude. I hope I can help. I'm glad I could help. Would you date the Odin project? Is a good place to learn and build your coding skills. Plus, how useful is mastering command line interface of sticking to GUIs, IDEs? Well, I recommend my own platform, but I'm very biased. I think my platform, Studioweb, is the best, is the bee's knees. So I don't know about the Odin project. Do you need to master command line? Depends on the type of development you're going to be doing. You can do basic command line. Don't have to be a master at it. Just do basic. I have two categories of technologies. I have the absolute must learn, the fundamentals, which I teach in my mentoring program and my self-paced solo learning courses. And then you have the need to nerd technologies that are important, but you don't learn them unless a job comes around. So I would say command line is one of those things. So use whatever is good for it, because you might become a freelancer and you'll never have to touch command line, you know? When you had an idea, would you just code out the prototype very quickly? Yeah, whenever I had an idea and I would always draw out what I was going to do. First of all, I would draw out the use cases. So if it was a web app, I would draw out the screens. You know, that's what I would do on paper, and then I would write the code. Then I would write the front end code very quickly, just very boilerplate HTML front end with some CSS for basic positioning. Then I would build based on that front end, the views. Then I would build out the database. I always use relational databases, almost always anyway. And then once I had my database built, then I would create the controller code, the code that connects the web pages, the views, and the backend, the database. Hey, Red Goat, how are you? Code Long and Profit, welcome to the stream. Is there any Java freelance job? That's going to be interesting. I think they would be more rare. I know they're much more rare. If you're going to Java freelance, my guess it would be in the Android area, because Java is typically used for very large organizations. Large organizations don't tend to use freelancers as often as you might think, although there's possibility. Ahmed Bilal, love you, sir. I appreciate that. Well, thanks for joining the stream. Glad I get out. Cool. Yeah, don't forget the thumbs, guys. Don't forget the thumbs. All right, cool. So, okay, so yeah, by the way, I see there's people conversating on the stream. If you want to continue the conversation, I have a Discord channel, links below. And yeah, so you can continue having conversation when I am not live. So I recommend you check out the Discord channel. What's your take on new technologies versus old technologies? That's a broad question. Well, new technologies can be better than old technologies, number one. Number two, the web, well, software development in general has been pretty much hit plateau, I would say in 2013, 2014. It really hasn't changed terribly since those days. The only thing that changed considerably between, let's say, 2015 and today is DevOps got much more sophisticated, although it's simplifying now again, and server models, you know, the virtual servers, VPSs, that kind of stuff. But beyond that, in terms of actual software development, it's not a radical changes. So, but that's normal. You know, when I was around during the 90s, and things would change radically every year. You know, I remember one of the biggest changes was late 90s, like 98 through 2000, 2001, something like that. It was a huge change in terms of how things were done. I remember a friend of mine who had been big into the web stuff in the mid to late 90s. I built my first commercial site in 94, 95, something like that. And a friend of mine had been involved with the web stuff with me as well, but he dropped out of it in 1998. And then he tried to come back in like 2001. So he gets on the phone with me. He goes, Steph, I decided I wanted to get back into it, and he hadn't looked at web in like 4 years. And it was totally different. He couldn't believe it. He was like flabbergasted at how much it had changed just in 4 years. You don't see that anymore now. You don't see that anymore because it's pretty much hit plateau, you know? Yeah. I know having soft skills are important when working in a brick and mortar 9-to-5 environment. However, is that an essential skill to have in freelancing? It helps because you got to sell the client on what you're doing, right? Learn soft skills. I'd highly recommend my course, Lizard Wizard, link below. That's going to help you a lot with so many different things. But yeah, soft skills are important. You got to sell. What's the most cost-effective way to freelance? Elementor subscription, work with React, Next.js, Vanilla, JS Daily, but looking for something to offer to small business on the side. Depends on the market. You're probably going to find a lot of WordPress and PHP. You know, what makes you more efficient, cost-wise and otherwise, has to do with your own workflows and so forth. Or are you talking about hosting? I'm not sure if you're talking about hosting or not. That's a different issue. Software engineers losing their minds over AI versus hand coding is like builders losing their minds over electric drills versus screwdrivers. Yeah, pretty much. OTT, you are correct with that. In your experience for freelance work, web devs is more demand than mobile app dev or database management apps? 100%. When it comes to freelance, the web is king. It's king and queen, actually. That's just the way it is. Hi, sir. One more question. I have problems in focusing on one field. For instance, now I am studying full stack web dev. I sometimes think when I master web dev, you might do something else. Well, what you got to do, Mr. Nasrullah Babor, you have to start getting jobs now. You want to start getting jobs and let the jobs pay you to learn new things. I understand it's very exciting, right? You look at the world of technology, there's all these different languages and all these different frameworks and libraries. You can do AI, you can do full stack, you can do front end, back end, you can do iOS, you can do it's a lot of fun. But if you spend your whole time just learning and not earning, you got to make money, right? So what you do is you satisfy both cravings, your craving for cash and your craving for work, for learning something new, by getting the job to pay you to learn something new. And that's what I would do, you know? But so I understand. Do you have a preference about keeping software products fully software, i.e. software which does not involve a physical component like shops, restaurants, objects, because it adds complexity? I'm not sure what you mean, Rekao. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Are you talking about... Are you talking about developing IoT devices where you have to deliver your software? It's like the iPhone, for example. The iPhone, you know, it's both software and hardware. Now, Steve Jobs would argue that's what makes it very formidable a product. But of course, as you're right, when you have to deliver a physical product, it becomes much more expensive. But I'm not sure what your question was. Van Kata, I'm a 51 female, graduated last year with a CS degree, love everything about the field. How usual is it for older females to be coders? I feel too conspicuous. I think you're in a good place because they're going to be looking, depending on where you are in the world. But if you're in North America, especially the US, you probably find lots of opportunity because they're going to be looking to fill developer roles with women, which is a male-dominated role. So I think being conspicuous is good in this situation because it probably means there'll be opportunities presented to you simply because they're going to want some diversity in the nerd rooms. Can I be a freelancer just after graduating from university without any work experience? 100%. Just go watch some of my previous videos on how to be a freelancer, Chili Ken, and just get going. In the freelance world, you don't need to get a job working for somebody to start freelancing. But there's a process which I map out. It seems the market does not need junior front-end developers anymore. I've heard they prefer full-stack seniors. Mr. Weirdology, I've always said for many years, you can go back looking at my videos from 10, 15 years ago. I think I have some from 2008. I've always said that full stack is always the best stack. Do you predict GeoCities, Angelfish, and hot dog editors will ever make a comeback? Angel Fire. Yeah, I predict no. That's funny though. If you don't know, those are very old technologies from way back. Way back. All right. Thank you, sir. Yeah, no problem, man. In your opinion, is C# a good language to learn for freelance? If not, which language would you suggest? No, I would not suggest C#. C# is generally an enterprise language. So that means, I'm sure there are jobs to be had, but you're going to find most of the back end is going to be like JavaScript, PHP, especially for freelance. Yeah, that's true. Hey, Van Kata. Yeah, congratulations. Good stuff. Good job. Yeah, thanks for reminding me, David. Would you say web dev is a must for every beginner? I really wish I could enter into game dev or something different other than web dev. But here's the case every YouTuber would say, learn HTML, CSS, JS. The gaming industry is cool. I have friends who are in it. It's a tougher industry to get into. HTML, CSS is just a means to an end, if you will. But if you want to do game, then study game industry. Depends on how quickly you need a job. Like if you have time and you want to do game dev, then start studying game dev, start studying the market, you know? If I feel confident with my coding skills, can I jump and take a gig that I don't know anything about? Yeah, 100%, Rita. I did that all the time. If you're a confident developer, Mr. Brahim, you'll be able to handle that without difficulty. So jump into it, man. Do you have any advice on software testing path? Java, JavaScript, Python, Selenium, Mojo, Cypress? It depends on the company, you know? Wait a second. It depends on the company. Depends what they want to do. Does that idea of walking, talking around the city still on the bucket list? I'm thinking about doing that. I actually put a post. Yeah, let me know in the comments below, guys, if you would be interested in me doing commentary videos about development and business and freelance, whatever, while on the go, walking around the city. Now that it's warming up, I got portable camera. I got cameras. I can walk around, film the city. And so you kind of, let me know if you like that. You know, give me a walk and talk thumbs up or say walk and talk cool or something like that in the comments. I'm curious to hear what you guys think about that. Hey, newcomer here. I was wondering who should start freelancing fast. I'm a student in high school in EU and familiar with Java Spring. Wow, and front-end with Stack. Where should I begin? Upwork, Fiverr? Try both, man. Try both, you know? Start just reaching out. It's like you just got to start hitting. It's about a numbers game, you know? Start reaching out. Anko, what do you think of an applied computer science degree where you learn React, Go, back, and front end? I am a veteran, so it's free to me. Mark, you can't lose learning any of the technologies. So as I said, even if you learn this stuff and for some reason you find out that you can't find work in React or Go, you'll be able to pivot to some other technology like this. No big deal. I'm positive about it. In terms of full stack, what back-end path do you suggest to start? I'm asking because if it be PHP, you have some more market to work on, like WordPress development, or is it better to go with Node? Well, that's it. That's the point. There's so many small businesses that have some PHP, where they use PHP, whether it be WordPress or Drupal or something. So PHP is generally the king of freelance. Now, I'm not saying you can't get freelance work with Node, but I think you probably find a lot more opportunity with PHP. Like social network is fully software online, very scalable, whereas a restaurant reservation system, you need to get, okay, bam. It's opportunity, man. You know, it's this opportunity. You're going to have to figure out where you can make the sales, you know. You're right. There's pros and cons to everything, by the way, you know. What you say about selling software into a restaurant or something. Yeah, there's you have to the sales process is more difficult, but a pure online business also has its own difficulties as well. So it's different. Walking around Canada, walking around Montreal. Make sure you bring your snowshoes, maybe a team of dogs, pull your sled. Well, not in the summertime, but in the winter, yeah, for sure. Does learning of the basics first, such as data structures and algorithms, is it considered a waste of time, and is better to start directly, like web development, after you get a job, you can learn it? Yeah, data structures, you'll learn the basics of data structures in any beginner's web course. Like I teach it in my Python course, I teach it in my PHP course, I teach it in my JavaScript course. Algorithms, you don't need to learn. That's a need to nerd technology. You may never have to touch algorithms. So I would just jump into the web stack if I were you. How we doing here? Thanks a lot for answering. No worries, man. All right. Hey, Stefan, I've been considering IT and coding. Seems can only choose one for now. What's your thoughts on, say, cybersecurity specialist or programmer? I prefer programmer. I always prefer building things. That's what I would suggest. Does learning the basics first such as data? Okay, I did that one. I have always enjoyed math. What do you think about getting a math degree over a CS degree and teaching myself how to program? I would look into it. Look at the job opportunities, talk to people, see what they say. There's a lot more jobs, I think, easily out of the gate with a CS degree, but you combine the two. Maybe you can go CS, specialize in AI research, which is a lot of math. So I think you probably find a good place there for yourself. That's my recommendation. I like tech and exploring city videos. I'm sure mixing them would get a lot of views. All right, cool. With the current state of technology, how possible is it to get an entry-level job as a full-stack developer? There are a lot of opportunities. You just have to prove yourself, You're going to have to put some effort into it, Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Don't forget, guys, if you like this stream, you like the Q&A, please give me the thumbs up and let the Google algorithm know that you appreciate this. With the current, okay, I'm interested in getting into coding. Should I look into full stack or Python first? Brian, either or is fine, If you want to get straight to it in terms of getting into development, you probably find the web stack a quicker route. Although, as I said, once you learn Python, you can pivot to elsewhere. Shameless self-promotion, I do have an interactive Python course that's unique and highly rated. And I do have a full stack course. So I got both. So you can check those out. Why developers don't share knowledge? I don't know. They're busy writing code, I guess. A lot of them can't teach either. Steph, in your time in the 1990s, it all started. Yep. I was like when sailors crossed the Cape of Good Hope and began to discover the Pacific Ocean. Today, all the secrets are in. Yeah, pretty much, man. Mr. Cuboid's son, I saw like the web took off in the early 90s, well, mid 90s. And I saw all the development. I saw how fast things progressed, and I saw new technologies emerge and old technologies die. I saw business models that were thought of as being promising and failed. And I saw other models appear out of nowhere and take over. So yeah, I've seen it all. It's been 30 years. What are your thoughts about university and vocational trade schools for developing? Which one is superior and why? If you want to become a developer, I would just go to a trade school or do a boot camp. I have a boot camp, so I'm biased. Why? Because you can get it done in a fraction of the time. Remember, when you go to college, there's two major costs you got to consider. A, the cost that you got to pay to college over 4 years. And arguably even a bigger cost is the 4 years. Even Google said a few years ago, if you want to become a developer, don't go to college, just learn at a boot camp. You can get up to speed and get your first entry-level job as a developer easily within 6 to 9 months working part-time. You don't have to do a four-year program. That's falling away slowly over time, depending on where you live. How do you help someone who has learned to build web app pages to be more confident in their skills so that they can sell and make money? Just keep building stuff, man. Just keep building stuff and keep challenging yourself with new projects. Don't worry about it. If problems come up, you just figure it out. That's okay. Are you a Ruby veteran, undercover millionaire, money-wise? Ruby veteran. I did a little bit of Ruby back in the day. I think Ruby is cool language in some respects. I would never use Ruby for with apps that have multiple concurrent users, but it's good. It's good. I semi-retired 20 years ago, and after 10 years of just going out for brunch and breakfast and traveling, I decided to come out of retirement. So I built the SaaS called Studioweb about over 12 years ago, something like that. And so I still work part-time because I like doing what I do. I like doing YouTube. I like doing the streaming. I like mentoring people. That's what I do. So great live as usual, Steph. Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Glad you like it. Cool. How to build a programming language logic. I'm very confused, how to solve any coding problems. Do you have any ideas? Please suggest me. Mr. Dara, what you have to do, Mr. Jara Singh, you have to just keep writing code. A concept that I teach people is that comprehension comes through application. Let me say that again. Comprehension, that's understanding. Comprehension comes through application. That's through doing. I first saw this in martial arts, where I would be taught certain things and conceptually it kind of made sense, sort of. But then when I actually got in a ring and started fighting, or I got into some street fights, all of a sudden it made perfect sense. Same thing with coding. When you first start coding, at first you won't know everything that you're writing. Some stuff would be very confusing to you. But over time, the neural connections will be formed, and then all of a sudden you understand it. So if you want to understand the stuff, just keep writing code. It's very important that you write code. Universities have it backwards, where they think that you learn all the theory. Excuse me. Where a lot of schools, they have it backwards, where they say if you learn all the theory and then you go apply the theory practically. No, it doesn't work that way. That's BS. You by practical application comes the theoretical understanding. So just go write code. Trust me, you'll get it. Are there programming certifications that I should attain that will boost my employability? Certificates can help a little bit. A degree will help you in larger corporations, no doubt. But certificates of completion are pretty much useless. The most important thing, David, is that you can show that you can actually build things for real. That's where a strong portfolio comes in handy. What do you think about Harvard CS50X along with your course? So what I would do is I would do my course first because it's interactive, gives you instant help, instant responses. It's very unique. It's video-based with quizzing, over 1,000 quiz questions. And once you've done that, then if you feel like you want to explore other things, then I would jump into CS50. If you want to learn super quickly, do my stuff. Everybody will tell you that. You'll learn so much more quickly than you thought possible. Yeah. So, do you think working at a FANG is the end goal of programmer, developer, coder? For some people, I've had a few students who've gone to work for FANGs. Typically, FANG developers last a couple of years because they work you hard, but it's not necessarily so. No problem. Glad to help. Living the dream. Hope you get to your level someday. Just keep working, man. What's your Discord channel again? I'll join now. Just look at below the stream. There's a link to the Discord channel. You can join right away. Yeah, somebody beat me to it. Exactly. It's in the description. All right, guys and girls. Thanks for joining the stream. I hope you enjoyed it. Please do give it a thumbs if you enjoyed this stream. Also, let me know in comments under the video whether if you like me to do some long-form video discussions, conversation, podcasty style, where I'm walking around the city. So you'll see city views, and I'll be in the city, in the park, and this, and we'll be talking about coding or whatever. I'm thinking about doing that. I used to do those in the past. Yeah. So yeah, cheers heaps. Nah, FANG is just for the badge. Startups are the place where you can really hit deep. Yep. You can make a lot of money in the startups too. But you can also make a lot of money freelancing if you know what you're doing. All right, guys. Thanks for joining the stream. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks. And yeah, leave comments below. Excuse me, I need to get some water here. Code log and profit, everybody. Don't give up. Just keep working at it. You make progress. All right, we'll talk soon. That's it. I'll leave you with my ASMR video.